Hey everyone, welcome back to another exciting episode of Attack Productions. Today I back up joined again by Jake and Fluff.
What's going on, y'all?
What's up, beautiful people?
And today we're going over more red card as they finally announced the Syn Shenron stuff, which, Fluff, I know you're excited.
Absolutely. It's always one of my pet decks.
Now, this one didn't pick up as much steam, but I think the mechanic of this deck is very interesting, so let's get into the leader. 1-star ball. Permanent. Your deck can only include up to 6 Dragon Ball cards and can't include non-red battle cards. Permanent, this card can't attack. Activate main, you switch this card to rest mode, add up to 2 Dragon Ball cards from your deck and or life to your hand, then shuffle any areas you look through with the skill. Awaken, when your life is 4 or less, or you have 6 or more Z energy, you may switch this card and up to 1 of your energies to active mode. I like this stuff. It kind of reminds me of the Grand Priest stuff when he would wake up, or a Great Priest, and he would awaken, you reset him so you could use the effects on the backside. In this case, the leader will have an attack option on the backside. But 6 Dragon Balls instead of 7.
Yeah, I find that really interesting, but maybe it's just for consistency purposes. Maybe they found 7 was too difficult for the Wish leaders to hit.
I think it's flavor.
Yeah, I think it's a flavor choice too. Since this is the 1-star Dragon Ball on the face, it kind of makes sense. Makes me wonder if we're gonna get like a 2-star, a 3-star, a 4-star, a 5-star, so on and so forth for this archetype.
That would be really interesting if they printed different leaders with each set and just kind of you could mix and match and kind of go that way. That'll be interesting.
My question is, it's 6 Dragon Balls with, and then on the Awaken is if your life is 4 or less, or you have 6 or more Z energy, you may switch this card up to 1 of your energies active mode. My curiosity, are we going to get new Dragon Balls to associate to this leader? Maybe have like an active main, put this in your Z energy, draw 1 card. Because you could technically awaken without having to see all the Dragon Balls.
Well, that was my thought. What I was getting at is that we're going to get the other 7 Dragon Balls as either battle cards or extra cards that have combo ability on them.
Yeah, I think I like the idea of them being battle cards, so they just have combo power natively, and maybe with that they'll get use in other Wish decks potentially. I think that's a really interesting design space for them to explore.
So once you've awakened, you become Syn Shenron, Despair made manifest. Auto when this card attacks, you draw 1 card. Activate main once per turn. Choose up to 1 Shadow Dragon battle card and up to 1 battle card or unison. The chosen cards get minus 15,000 power for the turn. So choose up to 1 of your Shadow Dragon battle card and up to 1 battle card or unison, which I assume implies your opponent in general. Just choose another one in general.
I'm assuming this means any battle card or unison card, and then 1 of your Shadow Dragon cards. So I'm assuming that's the intent behind this card. I haven't really seen anyone questioning it or anything like that at this point.
Depending on what the Shadow Dragon battle cards do, I'm kind of underwhelmed with the backside of this leader. I think they could have made this ability an activate battle, depending on how strong minusing your own red Shenron battle cards are,
Well, we know that we'll show it in a second. Actually, let's just show it real quick, just kind of include the idea of minusing and whatnot. The 8-drop Omega Shenron, Unfilling Retribution. Deflect Triple Strike, permanent. When this card's power would be reduced, it gets plus 5,000 power until the start of your next turn instead. If this happens, negate the skills until the start of your next turn.
Okay, yeah. So, yeah, I think it's good they left it on activate.
Then activate main, limit 1 to your red energy. If your leader card is red Shadow Dragon card or red Z leader, and you have 3 or more energy, play this card from your hand. So initially you place on turn 3, which is fantastic. Activate battle once per turn. Choose up to 1 battle card or unison. It gets minus 3,000 power for the turn for each of your Z energy. Additionally, if your leader is a Z leader, choose up to 1 battle card or unison, and it gets minus 30,000 for power. Based on the wording here, that tells me that's how the leader is. The leader is based, you choose 1 of yours, and you can choose any other one in play.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, just those 2 cards already have me excited for this archetype.
And I'll mention that this Omega Shenron is not exactly locked to this archetype. You only need a Shenron leader or a red Z leader energy. So this could really slot into any deck. Being a, what is that, 2-drop?
Yeah, as long as you have
30,000 triple strike. I mean, that just seems good for any red deck that is able to go into a Z Awaken leader.
this card, like I said, and I like that balance because the SR from this set and the from this archetype and the one we saw yesterday seem to kind of be their own thing, where the Gogeta is kind of trapped to that deck. This one is more open. I like that idea. And guys, I'm just saying, if they make a red prison Z leader, you know this is going in my prison deck. I'm just saying.
Oh, that's an excellent choice.
It would have to, right?
Yeah. I also want to point out, if I recall correctly, I might be wrong with this, but I think there was a red Unison that when it was negged, it would get boosted instead. It's been a while.
So I think that you're talking about the Gohan Unison from the Unison Boost, like little packs with the deck boxes that they sold.
Yes.
And I think the way that one works is if your leader's power is decreased, it gets increased by 10k.
It may be a leader, you're right, yeah. And maybe that's why I specifically phrased it battle card or Unison, so you can't.
Yeah. You can't pick your own Unison and then buff your lead and then get all the effects,
Yeah.
So with the 8-drop, when we mentioned Z leaders, we're going to the Z leader for this deck, which is Omega Shenron, Merciless Negativity. And this right here is why I believe that there's going to be new Dragon Balls that are meant to go into your Z energy area, because it costs 7 Z energy just to even play. It is a double strike, and when your life is 3 or less, and your opponent has 3 or more energy, auto when this card attacks, you draw 1 card, activate main, once returned, choose one of your Shadow Dragon battle cards, and it gets and up to 1 battle card or Unison. The chosen cards get minus 20,000 power for the turn. Additionally, you may remove 6 Dragon Ball cards in your drop from game. If you do, play up to 1 red Shadow Dragon card from your hand. So that tells me you Z Awaken, you put those 6 Dragon Balls into your drop, and then you can use this activate main to kind of play another Shadow Dragon, potentially the 8-drop that we've already seen, or maybe another one as well. But what I like about this is that you can actually activate main on the leader to choose like the 8-drop and then whatever. Z Awaken, do that again. And this permanent is not limited, so like that will make it right then and there a 40k battle card.
It negates for the turn.
After the permanent.
After
sorry,
negate
yes.
the skill for the turn. Yeah,
So
you can't double dip, but still you can activate it on the front side, kill an enemy battle card, play this guy. Like, it's huge.
Yeah, this is going to be a really big investment when you consider comboing 7 cards over the course of a game. That's a lot to try to get Z energy set up. So I'm really curious to see how this archetype is going to reward comboing or encourage this type. And I've got to believe that it's attached to those Dragon Balls.
I think so too. It has to be, but we'll see as time goes on. Tomorrow we'll probably get a mix between the two sets, and we'll see then. Going into other battle cards, we have the 4-drop Syn Shenron Dread Destroyer, Double Strike, auto choose one of your other Shadow Dragon cards and KO it. When this card attacks, choose up to 1 battle card or Unison and it gets minus 20,000 power for a turn. Activate main for 1 red energy, limit 1. If your leader card is red Shadow Dragon card and your leader is Z leader, or you have 6 or more Z energy, draw 1 card, then play this card from your hand. So once again, another way of just kind of spreading the love to other decks, because this activate main, as long as you have 6 or more Z energy, you can still play this card just fine. You don't have to require the leader in this case. So
yeah, it just also rewards you for going in with Z energy. Kind of supports that theme.
It's very, again, another card that we find that's very Z energy intensive. And I don't think that we've seen anything in any other color that is quite this intensive for having Z energy. Like, we've seen stuff that requires like 3, I think maybe as much as 4. But here, this one's got 6, and then the Z leader requires 7. So you're not paying for this guy, but you do have to have that 6 up.
Yeah, or be in your Z leader condition, which means you're at 3 or less life.
Yeah.
I do want to point out right here, the auto is choose one of your other Shadow Dragon cards and KO it. So if you're playing in your deck with no Shadow Dragons, you can't proc this auto, but it doesn't say choose up to one. So unfortunately, you do have to choose one of your Shadow Dragon cards in order to, when you attack, to get this to do its effect.
Yeah. And, there are 7 Shadow Dragons to pick from when doing that. So I'm assuming that there's going to be targets that you're going to want to be KOing with this effect. So I'm assuming that we're going to get a Shadow Dragon somewhere along the line that says that this card is KO'd by skill or effect or whatever. Do X thing, place this into your Z energy or something like that. I can only assume that there's going to be some skill like that attached to one or two of the cards.
Yeah, that would be really synergistic for the deck.
And going to our next card, which may be the target for that, it is Syn Shenron, Impenetrable Evil. There is no auto on popping it, but it is unique, crit, and blocker, and is a counter attack limit when you get the attack and play this card. Permanent if your leader card is Red Shenron Z leader, you can activate this card's counter skill from your hand without paying the energy cost, which is fantastic. Once again, it's another way. I think it's the only way to truly play this card because it's 4 energy outside of that. So, but once you Z awaken, you could throw this down. It's a blocker if it survives, or if you want to kind of combo up if your opponent stops attacking after that. Then you can turn around, swing with it as a crit 15, and then pop it with the 4-drop to get the 4-drop ability, and then your following turn you could counter attack again.
Really strong, being able to stop an attack and then have a blocker on field with a potential crit 15,000 as follow up on next turn. This card is absolutely amazing for this archetype, and I could definitely see this being run as a 4 of because it's going to potentially stop 2 attacks every turn. And this really reminds me of, I'm struggling to remember the card's name, but it was a card that came out in the Set 3 starter deck and was part of Set 3, but he was a blocker that played for free if your opponent had a battle card. And this just seems like a straight upgrade to that card.
Bodyguard Legic is the
Bodyguard Legic, yes, that's it.
So, like, sometimes in these videos, I have to take the spicy route. And I gotta say, I don't think I like this card as much as you guys do. It's contingent upon playing your Z leader, and even though your Z leader is in your Z deck and you have access to it all the time, we just saw that the Z leader takes 7 Z energy, and for the rest of the game at 4 energy, this is just gonna sit in your hand and do nothing but be a potential charge. Unless there's another way in the deck to play 15Ks from your hand for free or for cheap, I don't know if I'm including this card in my initial builds, and I'm going to have it like sold to me through seeing it played. It also gets hit by a lot of counterplays like the Vegeta Resolver Nude and like stuff that's already being used to stop floodgates. This doesn't get around those in any way that's like new or unique.
And I will agree with that. The only downside to this is that you have to be on your Z Laken leader, which requires your life being 3 or less, and at least turn 3 for your opponent. But outside that, getting on 3 or less, like the clause 3 or less life, while your opponent's at 3 or more energy, tells me that we may get some form of way of taking life when activating certain effects, such as like the Dragon Balls. And I don't think it's a comboing thing. At least I hope not. If it is, I do agree with Fluff. That's a lot on the comboing part. And I agree with Jake on that aspect. There's just a lot of resources to even get to the potential free negate. But you get to that point, this spends no energy, and then you can use your energy for other negates, or you could negate with another card first, like Topa or something like that, and then follow it up with this, or even Violent Rays. And when they try to like expend resources to play a bigger card to swing with, then you go, all right, cool, counterattack.
Oh yeah, if you get to cast it for free, it's insanely good. It's such good value. The crit pressure on the back end is just gravy. Like, but I just don't know how many games you're gonna get to cast this when you really want or need to cast it. Like, once you're on that backside, if you have an A-drop in play with your 20k leader, you're pretty much taking over the game. And like, maybe that's why maybe that's the design of this card, is like you spend all of your energy on your go off turn and then you have something for the crackback. But red already has so many good free negates that you play that can be activated at earlier stages in the game. I'm just not sold on this guy yet.
And I think it's one of those things where only time will tell. This is the releases. The cards are revealed yesterday, so hope you all enjoy that. Like I said before, just buttons, stuff, click them, comments, do it. Yeah, just do it. Fluff, would you lead us out?
Of course. Already loving the Shadow Dragon stuff that we've got. Can't wait for them to reveal more. As always, read your cards, know your plays. Let us make the mistakes so that you don't have to, and fluff out.